What's going on, everybody? Welcome back. We're on day 12 of the E46 turbo build, and today we're going to be finishing up all of the block prep. I want to get it all done so we can get it painted up tomorrow. We'll take some sandpaper to the top, 2 stages. We'll start with 800 and then 1000, and we'll get this all nice and perfect. The kinetics are kind of finicky, so we'll get that thing perfect. We got to pull these dowels out. We'll come to the front. We'll do the same thing for the timing cover before we bolt it up, and then we'll flip the engine over and we'll do the same thing on the oil pan gasket surface. But to start the day, we're going to run outside real quick, fire up the pressure washer, and we're going to wash this oil pan and the timing cover. We have to bolt the timing cover up onto the block before we do all of the deck prep and even the oil pan surface prep, because we want this surface where the head gasket seals up, that's got to be the same as the block. And then this surface down here where the oil pan seals up on needs to be cleaned up as well. So let's fire up the pressure washer, get these things washed up real quick. Timing cover came out pretty clean. There's still a little bit we got to do by hand, like with a brush and some brake cleaner, but that'll do for now. I just wanted to get it cleaned up so we can bolt it to the engine without getting it all dirty. Oil pan as well, about the same condition, as clean as we're going to get it with the pressure washer. The rest we'll have to do by hand with brake cleaner and some small brushes, but a whole lot cleaner than it was before. So I'm going to dry this timing cover off. We'll let the oil pan sit out here and dry itself, and then we'll bolt this guy up and get on to the rest of the block prep. So the timing cover's all bolted up, just real lightly nipped 2 bolts at the top, 1 down here, just to make sure that these surfaces are right on and flat. I went ahead before we started and just loosened up these dowels, so they should just come right up. And basically what we're going to do with the deck surface is start with some wet dry 800. And then move on to 1000 grit. That should give us a real nice surface. Just use a little sanding block like this guy here. And I'm not going to use any hard pressure. We're just going to kind of let the sandpaper do its thing and keep it lubricated with some PB Blaster. Okay, so you can see with a few passes of the 800, it's quite a bit cleaner. We still got a few spots up on the top of the timing cover little guy there, and just a little bit of gasket material left, but everything in between the cylinders is gone. So yeah, we're looking good. We're just going to keep working at it. We want to still work the whole surface evenly. You don't want to work just this or just this. We'll just keep going across the whole thing until we don't see any more of this. Okay, so that's going to wrap it up for the 800 grit. As you can see, it is looking really good. I wanted to point out right around the water jacket here, there's just a little bit of material. And also kind of up here on the timing cover. I'm not going to stress too much about that because that's just more or less material that has made its way into the pores of the metal. So I'm not going to sit here and scrub at it because I don't think it's going to affect the sealing of the head gasket at all. We've obviously got a super smooth surface. Everything looks really good. So we're going to move on real quick. We'll do a pass with the 1000 grit, and then we ought to be done with the deck surface. So I'd say the block is ready for a head gasket. A few little spots, like right in here, and over here. But for right now, this is almost perfect. So if I decide that I got to come back and make another pass, I will. But I'm real happy with the way that that came out. So let's move on. We'll roll the engine over. We'll do the oil pan gasket surface, and then we'll pop the timing cover off, do the timing cover surface. So real simple for the oil pan surface. Obviously the oil pan gasket's metal with embossed rubber. So this doesn't by any means need to be as perfect as the deck surface. What we've done here is going to be totally fine. Better than what, if you think about it, it's going to be a lot better than what most, like if you're replacing the gasket in the car, nobody's really taking sandpaper to this and wet sanding it down so that it's real nice. Most people are just using a scuff pad to get it all cleaned up, so that'll do totally fine. All this stuff on the outside edges here, the gasket seals on the inside, so none of this, we don't need to be worried about any of this, like unless you're super like anal about making sure it's perfect, but I'm not going to sit here and scrub at it over that. It's not going to affect the gasket sealing, so I'm fine with that. So let's pop the timing cover off and we'll do the surface on the block, and then after that we'll end up doing the oil pan surface. Oil pan's still outside, and we'll also do the surface on the timing cover. Okay guys, so the surface on the front of the block for the timing cover is sanded up real nice. So obviously you can still see some of the traces of the old, like the old gasket where it was. But a test that I like to do on these all the time, like if you can't feel that with your fingernail going across, it's totally fine. We got some like right there. That, again, I can't feel it, so although it looks like it's still there, it's going to seal up just fine. Tonight I'm going to go through and I'm going to clean out all this random little dirt, clean out all the passages, take a toothbrush and just some pads and get in here and get that completely cleaned up. And the block will get one last wash before it gets painted tomorrow. So we'll get to doing the oil filter housing surface, and then we'll move outside, we'll do the oil pan, and we'll do the timing cover surface on the back of the timing cover. And then everything is happy. So that'll be good for the filter housing surface. It's just a rubber gasket on there, so basically we just wanted to make sure that there's no crud on that surface there. So I'm gonna take a break real quick, run inside, eat some dinner, and when we come back out, we're gonna be doing the timing cover, this surface here. I'll probably come out with a toothbrush and just make sure everything's all cleaned up inside of there too. And we'll pop the seal out before we paint it. And then we'll also do the surface on the oil pan, same down there, bring a little brush out, get all the junk out of it. And then either tonight or tomorrow, I'm gonna have to take a scuff pad to the outside of this to get all the dirt off before we paint it up. So I'll catch you guys in a little bit. So we wrapped up late last night, and I forgot to make a closing part to the video. So the surface on the oil pan came out real nice, as well as the timing cover. So everything here is going to be ready to get taped up and painted, and that's what we're going to be going on to in the next one. So subscribe to the channel, turn the notifications on so you don't miss anything. Follow the build on Instagram at BeamerCody, and head on over to the site, beamercody.com. Get entered in to win the car. Don't miss your chance. Loads of cool parts showing up this week for the car. Got some of the turbo stuff coming in. Almost everything that we need to finish rebuilding the engine. Fender flares should come. Ducktail should come. And I've got a fun surprise for both of those, because we're definitely not just going to be taping them on and calling it good. So pick something up, get entered in to win, and I'll see you guys in the next one.
Like, ride with me if you ride with me, you can slide with me if you feel like 550 on the 5 sticky, come get high with me, that's a deal, right? Ride with me if you ride with me, you can slide with me if you feel like 550 on the 5 sticky, come get high with me, that's a deal, right?